Hi, and welcome back to the channel, where we discuss all things cults, coercive control, and undue influence. But before we get underway, can I please ask you to take the time to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified as new videos are released? Thanks. I really appreciate your support of my work. Well, this video is the final part of a series in which I unpack the BITE model of authoritarian control, using my experience being born and raised in a cult. The BITE model, developed by Dr Steven Hassan, explains the 4 domains that cults, high control groups and coercive partners employ to gain influence and maintain control. The BITE model stands for Behaviour Control, Information Control, Thought Control and Emotional Control. In this video, I'll be unpacking the 4th element, Emotional Control. According to Dr Hassan, emotional control can include manipulation of both positive and negative emotions. We know that fear is a key driver of human behaviour. Emotional manipulation can be used by abusers to induce fear and further in recruiting and controlling members and victims. To get an idea of how this works, think about how you might feel when falling in love. Think about the emotions, what we feel when falling in love. The adoration, the attraction, the flirtation, all these really positive feelings and emotions, they make us feel really good. But in the context of a cult or high control group, these positive emotions are manipulated through love bombing of new members or a new prospective partner, going above and beyond in showing kindness and taking an interest in others. In fact, no measure may be too far or too much. In the cult I was formerly a member of, we were actually trained to hone into newcomers and offer them every support possible to attend, give them a really positive experience and minimize any pain points. This sets up the pattern and provides a dopamine hit to the recruit. It produces feelings of belonging, warmth, friendship and love. The victim is blinded to outside thoughts and influences. A new member enjoys the rush and all this attention, and they come back for more. And to be honest, that sense of community from the outside can seem really, really alluring. But it doesn't just stop there with manipulation using positive emotions, because blame, guilt, shame, and fear are the prime tactics in the cult playbook. High control groups and other abusers rely on delegitimizing the victim's own emotions. Cults and abusers employ thought-stopping techniques to block negative feelings. My former cult, for instance, would engage in victim blaming and shaming. If a member was struggling, they'd often be accused of being weak, lacking faith. They might be subject to questions as blunt as, "Isn't your love for God enough?" Or "Pray more. Pray for more faith. Do your utmost for God. If only you would pray for more faith." This is just the start, as guilt and unworthiness come into play. Guilt, it's a powerful emotion, as is fear. And fear, according to many professionals, is a driver for much human behaviour. From an evolutionary perspective, fear is beneficial. It's useful as a protection mechanism, keeping us and our ancestors in the past away from wild animals, seeking protection, avoiding harm. However, it's a really easy emotion to manipulate. Coercive partners in cults use fear to maintain control. Fear of the world outside of a cult or an abusive relationship. Projecting the inability for the victim to cope without the abuser. Fear of losing family and friends, losing one's life, disapproval from a god, deity, controlling partner. So, how does this insidious form of emotional manipulation all start? According to Dr Steven Hassan's BITE model, phobia indoctrination is the key to keeping victims in submission. This is achieved through an absolutist mentality in cults, and it does the following: instills an irrational fear of consequences of leaving the group or questioning the authority structure. Teaches that life and fulfillment outside of the group is just not possible. In the JW cult I was a part of, they would say this explicitly, that there is no life apart from the organisation. I believed it. I even taught it, and it kept me captive for years after my expulsion and shunning. Other aspects of this absolutist mentality include warning of terrible consequences for leaving, including, believe it or not, demon possession, hell, suicide, insanity. shunning those who leave through instilling fear of rejection by friends, family and community. They propose that there is never a legitimate reason to leave, teaching that those who do leave are weak, undisciplined, unspiritual, worldly, that those who have left are brainwashed by family or those around them, or just seeking the pleasures of the world. Some cults and abusers even go as far as resorting to threats of harm to ex-members and family. Once the positive things, the love bombing, wears off, the above methods ensure that effective control is maintained. By this stage, months or years might have elapsed. So many of the elements we've discussed ring true in my experience. My family in the cult even asked me if I was doing drugs, as this might explain demon possession in my case. Emotional manipulation is insidious. I was even told by a family member at my own grandfather's funeral that the only way I would be able to see my family and be close to them again was to come back to the JW cult and repent of my sins. This sat really heavily with me for a long time, and it just underscores how deep the indoctrination runs. Dependence, emotional manipulation, and fear are key tools used in instances of coercive control by high control groups and cults. Well, I hope you've enjoyed what you've heard so far. This ends the series on the bite model, but please join me next week as I bring you something that's just a little bit different. I'm Christopher Karvountzis. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and since this is YouTube, please take the time to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified as new videos are released. In the meantime, please head over to my website where you can access more information, resources, links, or even book me as a speaker for your next event. I look forward to speaking with you soon.